Okay, grade 5 in 5 minutes for AQA English Language Paper 2. Can you get up, Arch? AQA English Language Paper 2, question 2. Come on in. There we go. The aim of this video is to go through step by step how to tackle the question and achieve a grade 5 or higher. All you need to do is download the resources from mrcrawfordenglish.com/revision. It's there somewhere. Work on the materials alongside the video. You sorted, yeah? Good. So question 2 is a synthesis question. That can sound really scary and daunting. All you need to do on this question, a lot of students overcomplicate it, is summarise the similarities or differences, whichever one is being asked for. It's a 10-minute task. It's only worth 8 marks, and we're going to aim to discuss 2 or 3 things really well. We do not need to discuss language in this question. It is simply a summary of differences. So the steps there. Number 1. Identify the focus of the question. In this case, it's the importance of nurses is explained in both sources, and we've got to summarise how both extracts explore the importance of nurses. Step 2, plan a quick response. You might want to use a table like the one I've put on the PowerPoint of source A and source B and what they show about the importance of nurses. And then we need to work out what we can infer. What can we work out? There are marks for inferences. What does this quote help you to understand? So I would pause the video here and go through steps 1, 2 and 3 now. Read the 2 sources. You should have done that already because you'd have had your sneak peek at the start of the exam, so hopefully this won't be difficult. And literally fill in a little table of 1, 2 or 3 things that you find out about the importance of nurses in each section. So assuming we've done that then, I've done it too, and I've found a couple of quotes. I've realised in source A, they talk about the long hours and low pay. In source B, they talk about how nursing requires the most undivided attention. And I've highlighted quotations from both sources that help me to work out the importance of nursing. So writing it up then, rather than a what, how, why, this time I'm going to use a PQI, point, quote, inference, point, quote, inference. We've only got 10 minutes, so the chances are we might only get through 1 of those, but hopefully we might get through 2. The point, what have you noticed about nursing in source A? Quote is your quote. Inference, what can you work out from this quote? You do not need to talk about similes and metaphors and language techniques and fancy things like that. You simply need to say what you can work out. Do that for source A and then for source B. In this case, the question is similarities, not differences, so make sure you've identified the focus in your question. What would that look like as a paragraph then? Here we go. So the point, in source A, Whitehead informs us about the importance of nurses by criticising the expectations of the job. The quotation that I've chosen, at what point is a qualified nurse who entered the NHS expecting long hours and low pay pushed so far that they can no longer carry on? The inference I've made here, and I've started it with this sentence stem, we can infer, I would do the same. We can infer here that nurses are finding the workload too much. Whitehead is clearly frustrated that people who work in such an important job are treated so badly. We can work out that nurses cannot cope and are leaving the profession. Whitehead clearly believes that nursing is a job of importance and that their workload should be appreciated. I'm now going to move on to my second text, and if you remember the table that I drew, I identified that in source B, she was talking more about how nursing requires undivided attention. So, Florence Nightingale also, I've underlined also and put it in bold because that's the part where I'm showing that there is a similarity, because that was the focus of the question, informs us about the importance of nurses in source B. She too stresses the dedication needed. The quote I chose, nursing requires the most undivided attention of anything I know and all the health and strength both of mind and body. The inference, Nightingale also acknowledges, there's my similarity again, the importance of nursing. We can work out that nursing is a tough job that requires long hours and dedication, just like in source A. We can infer that being a nurse takes everything you have. Not only do you have to be physically fit, but also emotionally fit. Nursing must be important for it to require such an excellent state of health. Notice how I've not talked about any language or structural techniques. I've simply said what the quote helps me to work out about nursing. I've stuck to the focus of the question all the way through by talking about the similarities and the importance of nursing. You'll also notice that I've put my evidence in there, which we're expected to do. I've mentioned the similarities because there are marks for that to show that we understand that there are similarities. It was in the question. I've put my inferences in there, the things that I can work out. I've used those phrases, we can work out or we can infer. What I would do is pause the video now and try structuring your own PQI paragraph using one of the sample papers. You can use that same exam on nursing, or there is another one available that you can use as well. You can even email me your responses, info@mrcrawford.co.uk, and I'll happily have a look at those, give you a grade, give you some advice on what you could be doing. The important thing to remember is that you're summarising either the similarities or the differences and not talking about language. All you're doing is saying what you can work out or infer. So give it a go. Download the example annotated papers. You can download the additional papers. You can practice till your heart's content. PQI. You can head to the website mrcrawfordenglish.com/revision. Everything you need is there. Laters.